What is good? It's your
What
man,
is
Russ Mitchell, Homesick Buckeye. And I am here with my girl, my ride or die, my keto sister, Nurse Kim. Nurse Kim is in the building, but I think you
Hey
deserve a round of
guys.
applause, Nurse Kim. We're gonna bring you in the right way. We're gonna bring you in the right way, sis. And yes, man, we're gonna let some folks get in the room. Let some folks congregate and gather. As always, like, share. So, folks, I don't know
Subscribe.
we're over here on the subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Come on over
I
here,
don't
hang
think
out.
I don't think I've ever told anybody to subscribe before, Russ.
Right to your channel. They
Yeah,
just
I've
know
never.
automatically. Yeah, they just know automatically. They just like, hey, let me subscribe. This is Nurse Kim. I got to have her. I got to have her. Where's the subscribe button?
I mean, I figure either they like me or they don't. If they don't, like, what's me saying, oh, hey, subscribe? What's that going to do? Nothing.
Who doesn't like you? Who doesn't like you? Well,
Oh,
people
you'd be
don't.
surprised.
Well, not anybody important. I can say that. I can say that. Yes, but there are haters everywhere. They are everywhere. Yes, folks coming in. Hey, Nancy, what's happening, Nancy? Good to see you. Paul, hello, hello. Give people a few minutes to come on in. Hit the notification bell, all that stuff. If you don't know, now you know, man. And it is a Tuesday. Love hanging out with the family, chopping it up with the family, just seeing what's going on with everybody, letting everybody know what I'm doing and seeing what everybody else is doing. It's a lot of fun. How has your week been, Nurse Kim, since the last show?
It's been pretty good actually.
Yeah.
I had a pretty good week at work, and that's always a plus. And I don't have to go back till Saturday, so I'm
Yeah. Now,
liking it.
what is your definition of a good week at work? Like, is it like nobody died? Is it
I
like
mean, no,
there weren't a lot of
somebody died.
people?
I mean,
You what?
no, somebody died, but yeah, I mean
Oh,
that wasn't the good part. Obviously, people
yeah,
die.
yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah,
bad,
yeah, yeah.
but no, it wasn't my personal patient. But people
Yeah,
do die sometimes, so. Yeah, it's just with me and my patients, we're just vibing, we're talking
right.
about stuff, we're making friends, we're
Yeah.
they're not mean to me and I'm not mean to them. That's my definition of a good week.
Yeah, I think everybody would like their nurse not to be mean to them. I think it's like my nurse hit me with a bedpan.
No, I think it's more often the patients are mean.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Because I mean, at the hospital, it's nobody really wants to be there. You just end up there, kind of like Denny's.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, we have to overlook a lot, and that's okay. That's part of the job,
Yeah,
I don't mind. I don't take it too personally, but
yeah, yeah. No, I understand that. Yeah, my week has been a little nutty, a little bit. I've got both my biological dad and my adopted dad are both having some health problems, so they've both been in and out of the hospitals, and it's been a little rough. They're both in their 80s, and it's just kind of part of it. Father
yeah,
time
I'm
is
sorry to hear
undefeated.
that.
Yeah, yeah. Father time is undefeated. I talked about it a little bit last stream. My adopted
Yeah.
dad was down here visiting and fell, and he was in the hospital. Then he was in a rehab center, and he fell twice in there and
Hmm.
just fractured hip. And so he's been in the hospital. Yeah, now he's in a rehab center again. And so we're just trying to, nurse him back to health and keep him comfortable in that. He's going to be here in Jacksonville for at least another 2 weeks, maybe 4. So, and then, we'll just try to play it by ear, get him back home, and you
Yeah.
know, I go. So much of this is just day to day and week to week. So but he's got a lot of people rooting for him, a lot of people praying for him, and so like I said, we'll you know keep doing what we
Well,
do. That's about it.
I'm sorry you're going through a rough time, Russ, but
Hey,
sometimes we need things like this to get our mind off of it. while.
Absolutely, man. There's no place I'd rather be than hanging out with you and the family here. Just talking, laughing, smiling, having a good time. I'm all about that. I'm all about
Yeah,
laughing, smiling, and keep going. There's always things in life that are going to get you down. There's always things in life that may discourage you or disappoint you. Hey, you got to get up, dust yourself off, and keep rocking.
that's
Keep
right.
doing steadily improving. So that's what we're doing. Health wise, I'm good. No scurvy. Still trying to get that heart attack. Shout out to Quackity Quack Man. My man Slick Rick is out there somewhere chasing a duck or an iguana, I'm sure. Probably lurking in them. He's probably can see him right now in his duck suit, in camouflage somewhere in the looking for a duck to spear. Shout out to him. But he coined the phrase, the first guy I ever heard to talk about heart attack diet. So yeah, we're on that heart attack diet. We're trying our best to go out with the big one, man. Eat bacon and
Oh,
frying things in bacon grease, buddy. We trying to get that heart attack diet.
hey, Garth. Oh,
There,
and we
oh,
do have Rick. Here he
yeah.
is.
Hey, I told
Speak
you.
of the duck, and here he is.
Yes, I told you. He's lurking around there somewhere, man. I guarantee you. He's probably just took off his duck suit, from his duck camouflage, his feather suit. He's been in the grass. Yeah. So yeah, looking for the big one, baby. Absolutely. Better believe it.
One
So
treat as we speak, I'm sure.
yes, that's
Is that what you do, Rick?
yeah. As always, you can come on in and join us. We got a link in the chat if you want to pop on and say, hey, crack a joke. You got something to talk about? Come on in with us, hang out. If not, we'll keep doing what we do here.
Yeah,
Man,
do we
this
have a
week,
link in the chat?
yeah, I put one in there, but we'll put another one in there if we need to.
Okay, I
And
didn't see it.
yeah, as far as diet is concerned, family, I got to let you know I've been all over this keto road. Man, if you see me swerving on that keto highway, don't judge me. Don't judge. Listen, I clipped the guardrail. Okay, I have been all over the keto road over these last couple of weeks. My family's been here for a couple of weeks. They're all vegetarians,
Mm-hmm.
and so just snacking. Like I said,
Yeah.
I didn't wreck. Okay, I didn't crash the keto mobile. It did not crash.
You
Okay.
didn't total it. It's still
Yes. Hey,
drivable,
look.
right?
Hey, listen. Hey, no. I just clipped the guardrail. Hey, listen. Like when you're on the road and you get over and you hear that, yeah, yeah. I've done that. I have done that. That is for sure. But yeah, I have not wrecked the keto mobile. I've just, been snacking, little things, some potato chips, some
Yeah.
nuts, a few some vegetables, some beans, just little stuff. And that's pretty much it. So not terrible. My chaffle game, I've been tightening up my chaffle game.
Oh,
Although it's not really much it's not very chaffle.
not very chopply? Chopples aren't chopply?
No, yeah, the CH indicates there's some cheese in there, and it's a little bit. I have been experimenting more with coconut flour a little bit, and I'd be curious to know if any of you guys. I mean, I know sometimes there's a carnivore contingent, but we're Big Tent here, so everybody's welcome. But if any of you have done anything with coconut flour, used it, dabbled in it, used it here and there. So I've been doing that, and I got a kind of a cool mix, with my less cheese, a little bit of um, of coconut flour that I've been dabbling in. It's pretty low carb. It fits in with my macros, and I've been making some breakfast sandwiches in the morning with it, and stuff like that. I like it. It's a nice compliment. I'm gonna make some salmon salad probably here this week or next week,
Hmm.
and I can use that with that. I'm gonna probably make some burger patties before too long. I can kind of do a little bit with that. I don't want it to be eggy, and it's not eggy. I want it to be kind of a blend between cheesy and bready.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's kind of what I'm doing. And there's a bunch of different recipes out there, but I'm an odd bird, and so my tastes are a little different. So I don't want it too cheesy, and I don't want it too bready. I want a nice blend, and I think I found it. Have you done any of that? Have you ever made chaffles or any kind of
Yeah, I actually make a little carnivore chaffle pizza as a little treat here and there.
Yeah.
I got the recipe from Courtney Luna,
Mhm.
and a woman who gets much hate on the internet. Oh my goodness!
About
If,
what?
if you're if you're faint of heart, don't go to her comment section.
Mhm. I'm not
It's
familiar. What's
bad. People, Instagram, they're vicious. I didn't know they were so mean over there.
But is it a personal attacks or just like they don't like her
Yeah,
message? What's the
yeah, a
I'm not
little bit of both.
familiar.
It's
Yeah, I'm not
personal
familiar.
attacks because they don't like her message, basically.
So her
So,
message is
uh, carnivore, mostly carnivore, keto, but yeah, mostly carnivore, and they don't like it.
oh because
I
what
mean,
she
she has way more positive than she has negative, but the negative is just so like I wrote her a little note and I'm like, girl, thank you so much for doing what you do and taking what you take over here
so
because
it's
I
like
really appreciate the recipes.
so it's people what are people oh, that's not carnivore, blah blah blah, that kind of stuff.
Oh, not just that. Like, these are probably vegans or vegetarians or I don't know.
Oh,
They
oh,
just
oh, 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 that kind of hate.
yeah, just awful.
Oh, I gotcha. I gotcha. I thought you were talking about people who are trying to out keto each other.
No.
But but these are people who are not
Yeah,
keto
these
people.
are these are kind of obviously not keto people.
Yeah. Yeah, listen, there's always that, I mean, I get little bits of that. I've got some family that are just hardcore. I mean, and I get it, man. Listen, it is really hard to unlearn everything you've ever learned.
Mhm.
It's just hard to do. It's hard to look at health and nutrition and all the things we've been taught. I mean, I'm 50 plus years old. I mean, I've been taught since I was a little kid how much I need fruit and vegetables,
Yeah.
and grains. And to tell somebody, no, you really don't. I mean, I don't know how many times it's like people are like, what are you talking about? I don't need fruit. Well, that's crazy.
Mhm.
I'm
Yeah.
like, no.
And it does sound crazy, but you don't have to treat people like
Yeah,
that regardless. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
I
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
care what other people eat, I'm a grown adult and
yeah.
it doesn't
Yeah,
hurt me that bad if you eat what you eat and I eat what I eat.
yeah. I was talking to a friend of mine about that earlier today. And, I was saying, I don't care what you eat. I'm not the food police, although I do consider myself part of the Food Information Bureau. So the FIB. But the biggest problem that I have, the thing that I hate the most, is that people are told that they need things and they're good for you. That's the part that is just so insidious to me. Like, if I have a bowl of ice cream, hey, Daryl, what's happening, brother? Good to see you, man. If I have a bowl of ice cream, right, I don't have any thought about it being good for me. I don't have any thought about I need this to live or, any of that. I know it just tastes good and I like it and I want to eat it.
Mhm.
Simple as that.
Well, I
So
mean, it's a free country. That's a good thing.
absolutely. But the problem is if I sit a bowl of oatmeal in front of you, you got a group of people who are telling you you need that it's
Yeah.
heart healthy, and that, if you don't have enough of this, you're not going to be healthy. That's the part that really, really gets at me, that makes me mad is that, hey, if you like oatmeal, eat oatmeal. But to tell
Yeah.
people that they need it is essential for them and have people, buying it and eating it thinking they're doing something good for themselves, man, that's the part that really, it just annoys me,
Yeah.
about so many of the foods, especially the grains and the fruits and stuff like that. It's just like, you know, um, You have to get the message out there to people. But people don't believe it. People look at you like you got, 3 heads when you tell them you don't. I tell people I haven't had, other than a tomato and an avocado, I have not had a piece of fruit since April of last year. And people are like, "Oh my God, oh." I'm like, yeah, no, it's just, it's like, and hey, if you want to eat fruit, but just know you don't need it. You don't have to have it, and your life will be great, without it. Eat it because you like it and it tastes good, not because you think you're going to die if you don't eat enough of it.
Well, luckily, the human body can survive on a wide range of foods.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah, yes,
how you feel, that's another story. And
yeah,
me personally, I feel better eating meat heavy, meat
yeah,
heavy keto at least. But I could probably feel best eating carnivore, honestly. I
yeah,
never thought that would be the case, though. I really was just going to do carnivore for 30 days, 60 days, turned into 90 days. And then I was like, I can't stop now, you
yeah,
know.
yeah,
But
yeah,
I mean, I've wavered. It's not like, I've
yeah,
always said I've added things back in. I had a few weeks where I tried a veggie here, a veggie there. More than anything, it left me feeling really bloated and just waterlogged. you know. One day I ate a bunch of cucumbers and celery, and I just felt waterlogged. Like I just felt like, you know. But I mean, it's my body. I'll eat what I want, and I don't. I
yeah.
can call myself uh, you know, I don't know what. I can call myself whatever I want to call myself.
Well, you're
So
ketogenic. We're ketogenic people.
I'm
We
primarily carnivore, so I call myself
yeah,
carnivore.
me
And
too.
some
I
people
don't
are primary carnivore, and they call themselves ketovore. But
absolutely,
and it's
absolutely.
my
I call
party,
my
and I will cry if I want to.
yeah, yes. We've had a couple going come together right now over me.
Over me.
You know, I prefer to call myself a ketogenic person. Because again, I'm like you. I have my definition of carnivore. It's not the same as everybody else's. If I have a nice steak and I, saute some mushrooms and put it on there and some butter, to me, I don't think that makes me not carnivore. I just
Exactly.
don't. But other people are like, oh, whatever. Now if I make asparagus and broccoli and a big salad to go with it, okay, yeah, I think you're crossing the line there, maybe a little bit.
I think it's my
But
line, and I'll cross it if I want to.
exactly. But I don't think using vegetables as a garnish or just as a little bit of a, for flavor. I put a little salsa in my ground beef, stuff like that. So that's my definition of carnivore. I don't eat, and prepare vegetables by themselves. I don't eat salads. I don't, I do season with a few vegetables and that sort of thing. And so that's my definition of carnivore. And I
And
eat
can't we
that
just
way, you
I'm
know.
sorry. Can't we just go to proper human diet? Like, can't we
Absolutely.
just
Yeah.
implement that from Dr.
I love all
Berry?
that stuff. I listen, but some people don't want to be seen as ketogenic. They want to be. I mean, I've had people in the we're carnivores. We're not ketogenic. We're not okay.
Carnivores are
DK,
keto. I mean,
DK, my man DK is in the building. How you doing, Dustin? Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Appreciate you coming by to say hey. That's my man. Check out his channel, Keto Simple. Man, there's so many things going on over there. Good. He's got a lot of great videos. We're going to do something here soon together. He's going to come on with me one of these days to co-host. Great guy, good friend, and he's a chaffle master too, man. It's funny, we were talking about it, and then I ended up going to his channel, and he had a bunch of different chaffle recipes on there. And yeah, I'm with you on that, Rick. I totally agree. But it's human nature to divide, to find ways to divide ourselves and all that stuff. I'm not, I'm just not with it. I'm a Big Tent person. I'm a ketogenic person, and I slide. If I had to put a percentage on it, I would say I'm carnivore by my definition, probably 75% of the time. And I'm carnivore by others' definitions, maybe 60% of the time. 5% of the time, I ain't nothing. I'm 5% of the time I'm wilding. I'm out in the streets, sis. I'm getting Eatovore.
Honestly,
I'm on the
the
Edo
further the further we get into this, like, I mean, some of us have been together for like the last year. We all kind of started around the same time.
Yeah,
A lot of us did. Of course, a lot of us were keto before that. We just weren't part of
yeah,
this community. But honestly, the topic just gets kind of boring. It's like splitting
yeah,
hairs. Who
yeah.
really cares? I'm Kim. Nice to meet you. you know,
Yeah. I
and
definitely,
0% vegan.
yeah. Yes, yes. But people do ask, people do believe it or not. It's, are you carnivore? Are you this? Are you that? So it's something that, if you're, at least for me, I don't know about you, in the YouTube streets, it's something that people ask you. What do you eat? How do you eat? What do you consider yourself? Are you this? Are you that? So at least for me, it's something I'd say at least once a week I have to answer for
Yeah.
somebody, what I eat and how I eat and what I do. So that's why I talk about it. I talk about topics that people bring up. But yeah, I call myself ketogenic, and like I said, I slide. And that's what's important is just keep your carbs low, keep your proteins and fats high, and call yourself whatever you like.
He even supplies him with their drug of choice.
Yes, yes, yes. As
Yeah.
always, if you want to come join us, there's links in the chat. And
So
by the way, go
I
ahead. Go ahead.
posted the link, but let's see. Oh, I see your posted the link now. Okay.
Yeah, it should be in there
It's
definitely
not
if you need
showing
it.
up as like clickable for me. Maybe it is for everybody else.
I do not know, but let us know if you have problems or don't see it or whatever. And by the way, okay, a moment of silence. We need to have a moment of silence for the Kentucky Wildcats. I mean, I got.
That's the best part I got.
How about this one?
Yeah. We need a new coach.
Really? Do you think so? Do you think so?
Oh, I thought this was gonna be fun and not depressing.
Yeah, it's fun for me. It's funny. Listen, and Buckeyes had a coach years ago in football, John Cooper, and he was a great recruiter. Like he would get great talent and great teams, but they never could win the big game. They always disappointed. And I hate to say it, but I'm thinking Coach Cal might be in that same kind of ballpark. Like he's a great recruiter. He can get the players and the teams. He's a cool guy. A lot of people like him, but the teams always seem to underachieve.
Yeah.
Am
I
I
know.
off on that?
I know. And you can only blame the players for so long. I mean,
Yeah. I
we
mean,
do recruit the best players in the country, so
yes, and they
yikes.
just can't. And it's not like you get to the championship game and lose, or you get to the Final Four and get beat by another great team. And that it seems like they just underachieve and they get beat by teams that they should beat or teams that are better than, and that's the part that just makes you wonder. I mean, you saw
Well,
what the Buckeyes did this year. I mean, we fired our coach in the middle of the season, and our team instantly got, dude,
like,
we
get
fired the
out of
coach.
here.
We fired the coach, and the next week we beat Purdue, which is the number one team in the country at the time. The next week, and went on a tear.
That shows it was a little bit of morale involved there with that.
Yeah, yeah, coaching, man, coaching. So
Mhm.
I don't know what the answer is, but yeah, I was thinking of you. I started to make a wellness check. I started to call you back. Are you okay? Do I need to, I'm like, oh, my poor nurse Kim was
I
something
know.
else. So
I
no,
mean, my husband he's suffering more than I am.
yeah, yeah. Well, I'm sorry to hear that because, like I said, my team didn't even make the tournament, so I can't really talk a lot of trash. So hey, I root for who my people like. I was rooting for UK. I know you like Kentucky. I got some other friends in different states. I was like rooting for their teams, but when I saw that, I was like, oh no, poor Kim. So
Mhm.
I don't know if anybody out there, if you got a favorite team, if you got a team in the tournament, you can shout them out. If you're rooting for anybody out there, that is awesome. I love this time of year. Same, and the ladies too. The women's tournament's going on as well. So I definitely watched some basketball over the last week. I love the tournament. I love the games. A lot of close games, double overtimes, all that stuff. And yeah. Hey, Susan, good to see you. I didn't say that
Hi,
before.
Susan.
Appreciate you being in. What are you guys eating this week, guys? What are we eating out there?
Oh, we have a guest.
Uh,
Ring the doorbell.
hey, I was in the middle of a sentence.
I'm sorry.
If you
I'm new here. I'm sorry. I get
You're right
excited.
at home. You're right at home. Yes, there's somebody came with you. But I will finish my
Okay,
question.
finish your sentence. Finish your sentence.
What are you guys eating out there this week? If you made something delicious and good, you put it in the chat. Let us know. I finishing up the oxtails I made and scrambled eggs. I made and some ground beef, and I've been doing my chaffle stuff. So let's see what you guys are eating out there these days. Always good to know. And look who we got. We've got Paul, everybody. It is Paul. Come on in, brother.
Hey.
Hey guys, how are we?
Welcome to the Cookout, brother. Come on in. Make yourself comfortable. You doing all right? Life good? Let's turn off the door, man.
First time on a live, so thought I'd give it a crack.
Huh? Yeah, listen, I appreciate that, man. We see you in the chat, hanging out.
Yeah.
We appreciate that, man. Always good to see you. So what's happening with you tonight? What's going on? Tell the people who may not know you, who you are, where you're from.
Yeah, well, it's actually not night. It's actually 11:30 in the morning where I am in Australia.
Yeah, there
Yeah,
you go.
it's pretty early still. I'm
Yeah.
in far north Queensland, in a little place with only 300 permanent residents. So
Wow.
pretty small little place. But yeah, I
Yeah.
live in Australia. I live in what's called far north Queensland, so I'm well up above Brisbane and all those guys. And yeah, been carnivore since the start of this year, pretty much on and off. Bit like you, a bit relaxed with it, but just trying to get over a bit of a sugar addiction is my main thing. That's why I went carnivore or ketovore or whatever we're labeling it at these days. And yeah, that's pretty much it. When you started talking about sacking coaches, I've got a pretty good my team that I follow in the AFL, which is the Carlton Football Club, and I'm probably going to get, if there's any Aussies, they I don't know about this, but we've sacked five. Well, we're on our fifth coach in 12 years.
Oh.
So we've got through a few. Almost as many as our prime ministers we had for a while there.
I got you. So when did you first hear about, ketogenic living, carnivore diet, all that kind of stuff? Like, what was your introduction into it? It sounds like you didn't have like a serious medical condition, maybe, but
no, mine's all.
Right.
So my first introduction was through, like a lot of people, Joe Rogan, but not through Sean Baker, through Mark Smelly Bell, who's a power lifter and entrepreneur. He, I remember him talking about it. I follow him on Instagram as well, and I remember him doing that when he first started a couple of years ago. I thought this was a bit out there, but whatever. And then same as everyone else, you just sort of forgot about it for a while, and then Dante pops up in the YouTube feed.
Yeah.
And then I sort of did it for a little bit. I did it for about 20 days for a while there last year. Started to feel really good, but fell off the wagon and stuff around Christmas, and yeah, and then back on the horse again, as they say, this year. So it's been pretty consistent. Few carbs here and there, but mostly meat. So probably we're putting percentages like we're talking about, probably about 80-85% plus coffee. So I eat carnivore, but I don't drink carnivore. If that makes sense.
Hey, listen, you got to live a little, man. Listen, people ask me, I live my life. I'm like,
Yeah.
hey, if you see me in the drive-through at the Krispy Kreme, don't judge me. I'm just saying, maybe I'm having a bad day. I don't.
Yeah, that's it.
Know.
I actually have something else in common, Russ, other than their good looks, is I actually own a racehorse as well.
Oh,
No.
harness racing is big in Australia and New Zealand.
Massive,
Uh,
massive, yeah.
Absolutely,
My whole
absolutely.
family's involved in it.
I've owned several New Zealand bred horses through the years, and
Yeah.
you guys go the wrong way around the track. But other than that, it's
Well,
like,
it's sort of like, well, actually, it depends on which state you go in. We do opposite directions.
oh yeah,
If you,
that is true because I've seen late
yeah,
at
if
night.
you're in Western Australia, which is where I'm actually from, it's
God,
it's the opposite way to some of the other states because Australia's a
yeah.
bit weird like that.
And
But
I
you're on
am
the correct side of the
from,
road.
sorry, I have to interject. And I am
Yeah.
from the horse capital of the world. So there
Yes,
you go.
Lexington, Kentucky. Harness racing. Now, Kentucky is much more of a thoroughbred state, but they
Mhm.
have they do have several harness racing. The Red Mile is probably you may have heard of the Red Mile. I don't know if you heard of the Red Mile, Paul. It's like 100 years old. It's like
wow.
it's ancient. And they have a lot of stakes races there, the Tattersalls and a lot of world records. It's a red clay track. A lot of world records have been set there. And super fast, lightning fast mile track. I've been there a few times, and it's really cool because it is literally right in the middle of downtown Lexington. It's old
Oh,
school.
that's cool.
Pretty
Back
much,
in those
yeah.
back in those days, 100 years ago, the horse racing and the tracks were like an integral part of society. It's like it was like the town square in many ways. And even
Yeah.
if you go to out east, like to New York, like Yonkers Raceway or Garden State Parkway before they tore it down, these places, the tracks were literally right in the middle of downtown. And people would come in. If you see the old pictures and stuff, people would pile in there to watch the horses race because it was like, a football game or whatever back then. It was like a thing.
Yeah.
So they've tried a few times to tear the Red Mile down and build, condos and, all kind of stuff because
Can't let that happen.
Mhm. We
it's
just need more
literally
condos.
in the middle of downtown, skyscrapers and all that. But I can't remember when, but it seemed like maybe about 10 years ago or maybe 20, they got it designated as a historic, landmark or whatever. So now they can't do that. They can't tear it down,
Fantastic.
turn
I
it
think you
into.
know more about the Red Mile than I do.
Well, it's
I
all
just
part of
know
the
where
racing
it's
industry.
at, and I've never been there.
Yeah,
But my
yeah,
husband
yeah.
actually works for the Jockey Club, though.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you know
I
where
don't know.
they keep all the information about all the horses, and it's like
Yeah,
he's a computer guy.
I don't think they have a thoroughbred track in Lexington. I don't think it's Turfway.
So Keeneland is,
Oh, yeah. Is that in Lexington?
yeah. Are you
Gotcha.
familiar with Keeneland?
Oh, yeah, yeah. That's a big time track for thoroughbreds, not for standardbreds like we race. But yeah, they have a few. They're having a bit of a renaissance, and they're building more tracks. They built one in Corbin, and they built one in Oak Grove, and in Kentucky. Yeah. So anyway, this has been the Harness Racing Update. I'm your host.
Yeah. My horse was actually supposed to race today, but they got abandoned because of the weather down on the Gold
Oh,
Coast.
yeah. What's
The
going on
track is
down there?
too
Rain?
wet. Yeah, too
Yeah.
much. Way too much. It's been so I moved to where I am now 7 months ago, and it's probably rained for 8 months. But
Oh
that's how much
wow.
rain we've had. Been
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah.
But it's supposed to
That,
be. We're in the tropical climate. We're up above
yeah.
Cairns and stuff, so it's pretty tropical here. Very humid. So
Yeah.
it's good for the paws though. It keeps them cleaned out.
Yeah. What about how did your family and your circle of friends, how did they appreciate or not your dietary changes? Or did you even tell them?
So my partner is ketovore as well.
Mhm.
The kids are adjusting slowly, kicking and screaming. They're only young. The oldest one's just about to turn 9. So we're adjusting them as well across. Not that we're eating a lot of bad stuff, but Where we are now, like I said, we can't get to a shop because it's 300 people. There's no big shops here, so
Yeah.
we have to. It's a half an hour drive to be able to go to the supermarket or to a butcher or anything like that. So basically, what we have is what we have.
Yeah.
But my immediate family, my parents, they still live in Western Australia. So I've spoken to them about it. They sort of understand and don't really question too many things. They just that we just do our thing and that's it. My we live in the same town as my partner's mum and stepdad, and she's sort of been having a few things where like, well, if you switch over to carnivore and if she has oatmeal for breakfast every morning, things like
Right.
that. Well, if you switch over, you're probably going to start to find there's changes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, no one sort of said we sort of don't really advertise it, but we don't. If people ask, the only place to eat out here is the local pub, and if you go there, just have a steak. No one really questions you anyway. Just don't have any sides. The more you can look from the server because you don't want anything on the side. Don't want
Yeah.
vegetables or
Yeah.
chips or anything. But apart from that, everything else is pretty good. It's a small town, so people will find out eventually.
Yeah. Now lamb is big down there too, right? Do you eat a lot of lamb?
Yeah. Lots of lamb and beef. Like I live in an area where there's beef farms all around us, and
Yeah.
sugar cane. So I
Right.
actually I work for a sugar milling factory that closed this week indefinitely and has been going for 130 years, and it just closed down due to lack of funding, and a bit of mismanagement. But they so I live around basically cows and sugar, which is an
Yeah.
odd combination, but that's what we have in the area. People that aren't growing cane anymore, sugar cane, are switching over to beef and doing that, or lamb, but it's mostly beef here. It's a bit too wet for lamb or for sheep up here. No.
That's interesting. So, how soon after you started the diet, changed your diet, and that did you start noticing changes in your life, and what kind of changes?
So when I did it the first time before Christmas, I sort of noticed pretty quickly, and the other reasons why I wanted to do it is just the mental clarity was the big one for me. Like I said, I don't have any real issues with any medical stuff apart from the sugar, which is a big one. But cutting that out, that was probably the first thing. I haven't lost a lot of weight per se, but I'm doing like gym and stuff. So I think I'm um, losing fat, but not necessarily losing weight. I'm
Yeah,
a
yeah,
pretty tall guy, at 6'3" and over 100 kilos. So I'm not really looking to lose a lot of weight, but just
yeah.
lose the fat around the belly and stuff like that, which is the main thing.
You're looking to be healthy. You're looking to get
Yeah,
healthier.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, my dad's a diabetic, which
Oh, yeah.
was self-induced. It wasn't. So I just want to make sure on top of that. The other thing I got conscious of. So I've been a volunteer firefighter for 18 years, and one of the big things we have, a lot of firefighters get cancer,
Mm.
and obviously feeding sugar feeds that cancer. So
Yeah.
that was the other reason I sort of started put two and two together and went, well, we keep going down this way. It's because we're likely to. There's 10 cancers. The main one being ingestion of diesel fumes,
Mm.
because the trucks are inside a fire station, which inside a
Yeah.
building. So the way it's set up, or the stuff a bit different in Australia than in America. We're sort of getting dressed in an area where the trucks are running because you've got to build up the air. So
Right.
then all of a sudden you're constantly breathing in fumes. So they're starting to fix that now. All the rooms are now sealed so that no exhaust fumes can get through, and you get changed in a different area than not. So than where the trucks
Yeah,
are.
some exhaust fans or something. When you crank them engines up, like
Yeah. Well,
when
a
the
lot of
pump.
the fire stations are 40, 50 years old. Not something they
Right.
upgrade all the time, particularly volunteer stations. So they're not designed like that. They're on the minimum amount of land where now they're having to add stuff to them as things change and they become aware of risk, which is what the exhaust fumes are. That's the big one at the moment. And when I first started, like we didn't use like you've got the breathing masks. We didn't use them for everything like they do now. Like we weren't. If like a vehicle caught fire, you wouldn't wear a breathing apparatus. You would just
Yeah.
get in there and Like that was 18 years ago, but now you wouldn't go near one without it because of the
Yeah.
carcinogens in it. Was what we know, you know.
Yeah,
Now
yeah,
it's all changed, which is good. It's all changed for the better.
yeah. So did you do any blood work or anything like that before you started?
No, I haven't. I haven't. It's not something that I've really done. Like I said, I've never had any reason to. I don't feel
Yeah.
unwell. Like I'm overweight, I know that. But it's more about, and it's also a lifestyle. It's a lot easier to cook when you only have to cook steak.
Yeah.
Let's be real.
Really? That's my favorite part.
Yeah,
I
it's
love
one
just
pan,
cooking one
you
thing.
know.
Eating
Yeah,
on it for a
I
week.
mean, I do a bit of variety because of the kids and stuff like that. And my partner doesn't like eating the same thing all the time, but I could just eat
Yeah.
steak or mince or whatever every day.
Yeah,
And
I
pretty
have to
much
have
do.
I have to have a little bit of variety. Yeah, I know lots of people who can eat steak or roast every day or eat the same thing every day.
Yeah,
About the third or fourth day, if yeah, somebody's gonna get thrown out a window. You know, if I, I mean,
that makes sense.
sometimes
Yeah,
I look down, I'm on the fourth day of whatever. I'm like, yeah, somebody's gonna die if I don't. It ain't gonna be me if I don't get something else. It's like,
So
yeah. So
what's your main go-to then?
I have a
Just anything.
rotation.
Yeah,
It's beef and ground beef, which I think you call mince.
yeah,
Beef it could be steaks, it could be brisket, it could be roast, it could be oxtails. You know, just some type of beef, and then ground beef. I kind of put that separate from the steaks and the roasts and things like that. And then lamb, I do lamb, and then I'll do a little bit of chicken, and that's kind of my rotation. And then I have bacon pretty much all the time, and I have scrambled eggs pretty much all the time. And it's
yeah,
funny, the scrambled eggs are the only thing, and I only cook twice a week because I hate to cook. I hate the whole kitchen area. I'd only go in there because there's food in there. And you know, so I cook twice a week. So I'll scramble up a dozen or 2 dozen eggs. I'll make, you know, 5 or 6 pounds of ground beef. I'll fry up 3 or 4 pounds of bacon, you know, and then I have little glass dishes and I'll partition it out, and you know, so that's kind of how I do it that way. Um, and so I'll have just a combination of those things, you know, throughout the week, and just to kind of mix it up. But when I make steaks, you know, I'll usually make 4 or 5 at a time.
yeah,
So I'll have scrambled eggs and bacon, or scrambled eggs and something, you know, for my first meal of the day, and then steak. You know, if I make salmon or if I make stuff, that'll be usually my second meal of the day, unless I have a little bit with my eggs. But my first meal of the day is 99% eggs and something. You know.
yeah,
So yeah, that's pretty much how I do it. Um, and then, you know, I make a salmon salad that I snack on a little bit. I don't, although I really have cut down on my snacking quite a bit. I used to eat a lot more eggs. I used to make egg salad. I stopped eating eggs so much, egg salad, because I eat scrambled eggs. I started doing a salmon salad and started making more ground beef. And since
yep,
I started eating more ground beef, I've noticed it seems to stick with me better and hold on to me more, and I don't snack um, really, or feel like I need to snack.
yeah,
So that's kind of been a breakthrough. I've only been doing that for a few weeks, maybe a month now. And it's working pretty well for me because, listen, I've lost almost 60 pounds and I do everything wrong. I when I changed over, I changed what I ate. I didn't change how I ate. When I was doing the wrong things, eating all the wrong things, I was a grazer. I didn't sit down and just hammer big meals. I would eat, you know, all day long. I could kill a whole large pizza. I wouldn't sit there and eat the whole thing, but over the course of a couple hours, you know, a piece here and then 2 pieces. And I snacked a lot. I did all that stuff. I ate late at night. I kind of have a big, huge eating window. Um, you know, it's called daytime and nighttime. So you
I
know,
call it awake. When I'm awake, I'm
yeah,
eating.
yeah. So again, trying to shrink that, but I just had trouble with it because those are my habits. I've been eating this way for 40 years. So those habits are still the same. It's just I eat something different now. Instead of eating, you know, pizza and stuff like that, it's egg salad or salmon salad, you know, but I still just snack a lot and stuff like that. So I know that to get to the next level, I really need to shrink that eating window. It also doesn't help that my I'm awake from about 9 a.m. to 2 a.m. generally, every day.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I don't sleep much. I get it from my dad. So again, it's just a big time, but it's going very much better. And since I made those changes, and with the ground beef, and so I like that. I like the routine, and we're gonna rock with that and see where that takes me.
Yeah.
But it's a message to everybody. You don't have to do it exactly quote unquote right, and you can still have good results. I'm better off, living a ketogenic life doing it quote unquote wrong than I was, than you are doing the standard American diet. And you just get better as time goes on. You get stronger, you just get better at it. You tweak, and just try to steadily improve to get where you want to go. Hey, Christy's here, everybody. Good to see you, sis. So yeah, man, that's kind of my my story with it. And I'm it's my personality and my nature. I'm a kind of a roll with the punches kind of guy, go where the wind blows me kind of guy. I'm not a super structured, super disciplined, super regimented kind of person in any aspect of my life. So, I just kind of do my thing, but my blood work is way better too. As a matter of fact, I'm getting my next round of blood work here soon, probably next week. I went to ownyourlabs.com because that's where I do it, and I got my form. Haven't got yet. I have a nurse come to the house and draw my blood for me and take it in. And I'm looking forward to this third round of blood work. It's the first one to the second one was much improved, and that was Thanksgiving time was the last time I drew blood. So it's been good grief. It's hard to believe it's almost April. So I'm excited about seeing the improvement to
Is there
my
anything in particular that you're looking for?
fasting insulin.
Yeah.
My fasting insulin didn't drop significantly. My liver numbers improved tremendously. My the other numbers were strong. My triglycerides went down. My HDL went up. My LDL went up. So many good things, positive things. But I want my fasting insulin to come down. My liver numbers could come down a little bit, and I want to get those triglycerides down and the HDLs up. That's my ratio was 2.6 and the 2.1 triglycerides to HDL, which is what Dr. Berry and those teach us that's the most important risk factor for heart attack and stroke. It should be less than 1, but 1.5 and up is dangerous. So I went from 2.6 to 2.1. Obviously, I want to get that to under 1, but even if it comes down under 2, that'll be great. Just continue lowering that risk of heart attack and stroke.
Yeah.
And, my liver numbers could be a little bit better. So yeah, shout out to Arlene. Good to see you, sis. Yeah, like I said, if you like to snack, I get the canned now, the way I like it the most, but I don't do it so much, is I like to make the salmon and then chop it up and all that. But I do use canned salmon a lot too, because I'm just too, the whole kitchen thing. And I use the mayonnaise that I use is the Chosen Foods 100% avocado oil mayonnaise. So it's got no seed oils. It's clean, very few ingredients, and it's made with 100% avocado oil. Some people make their own mayonnaise. Again, no shot at me doing that. So yeah, and it's delicious. And I talked a little bit about my chaffle game. My chaffle game is I'm elevating my chaffle game, so now I can have like a sandwichy sort of effect with my salmon salad and my breakfast. I had some eggs, some bacon, slather some mayo on there, and use my chaffles and knock it down. It's wonderful. So yeah, that's what I do, and I'm glad to hope that helps. Great snack if you're a snacker. And of course it's loaded with some good things. I think the omega, what is it to help me out? Okay, omega 3s, isn't that what we want? Not omega 6s.
No, we want omega 3s. We have plenty of omega 6s.
Gotcha.
I mean, you get omega 6s in just about everything.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh my God! Oh no! Oh no! 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 Oh no! We got the Duck Slayers in the building.
Oh, your
The
stream went
duck,
Hey, Rick.
downhill instantly.
it is waterfowl's most wanted.
Oh yeah, I'm just finishing up my dinner. I got home a little late from work.
Uh,
What is that?
yeah.
Kentucky Fried Chicken?
No, it's pork shoulder. It's boiled pork shoulder. I love it.
Boiled. Mmm.
Yep.
Boiled.
Yep.
Yeah. Hey, this is don't defile it. Don't put a smudge on your camera lens, man. Be looking at you through pork shoulder grease.
Oh, I'm covered in lard most of the time anyway. I got lard on my skin, lard on my hair, lard on my furniture. I have to clean that every week. That's a real process. My doorknob's got lard on it, tallow. This place is so full of fat. It's a wonder that I don't weigh a ton.
There you go, man. It
Fat
is.
doesn't make you fat. That's why.
That's
Just like my
right.
mom used to say, lard will make your hair fall out. Look at what it did to mine.
Yeah.
Hey, and listen. The sad part is, folks, he's not joking. He's not, there are no jokes there. There are no-
Russ knows the real Rick. Believe me. I'm not joking.
Look like a little bird.
Yes. Listen. Well, okay. I'm gonna do this, although I shouldn't. How was your day today, Rick?
It wasn't bad. I had some work to do in the morning, but then my van decided to break down. The fuel pump was acting up, so I had
Uh-huh.
electrical problems. So I came back here, and then I had to go to Napa Auto Parts and get a connector. Here's the box that it came in. What it was
go.
is the wires that go to the fuel pump. It was all rusted. It was melted. So I went and cut that out. I fixed it. I've been trying to fix the air conditioning in my van anyway, so I got that working. I got the fan working. I got to figure out where the refrigerant leak is, but it's only a matter of time before I'll be able to ride in an air conditioned van. And one day when I move, it'll be full of ducks and they'll be nice and comfortable. I'll even have a mobile duck pond to keep them happy. The only bad thing is, when you're driving on the highway and they start trying to fight or mate, that's when things can get a little difficult. Plus, you don't want to slide on the duck poop. So, that'll be a challenge right there. But other than that, they'll be comfortable.
I got you, man. Did you kill anything this week?
No, I actually rescued a couple of ducklings from the drain. Now, I was riding my bike to Napa today, and there was a big iguana right there by the canal. And I saw him, and I got off my bike and I ran, but then I slipped in the grass because the shoes I got are worn out, and he got in the canal. I'm like, oh man, I couldn't believe it. Anyway, I didn't have a bag to hold him, so I would have had to tie him up and stick him in the bicycle basket. But I would ride back home and then put him in a cage and then go to Napa and then come back. And then when I was ready, I could prepare him for dinner. But you know what? I'll find another one. They're starting to come out now, I think, because the weather's warmer and I see more and more of them. So I'll just make sure I keep my net with me the next time I'm on my bike. I always keep a net in my van just in case I see one. And once in a while, one of my customers will have an iguana that's harassing them. I'll take it away. Sometimes a charge for it. Most of the time, it's free. Free iguana removal. I'll remove it from their yard and put it straight into my stomach.
There you go. There you go. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen.
How do you kill an iguana? Do you
The
ring the
easiest
neck?
way is just stick a knife in the back of the neck of the iguana, and then they just die instantly. I mean, you could try to hit them with a rock. I've done that before when the iguana's running away, and I'll throw a rock at it. I've gotten them with the shovel. I've gotten them with machete. I mean, there's many ways you can get them, but if you got the iguana handy, you just stick them in the back of the neck, and they're done. Or if you shoot them, I mean, usually I'll shoot them with an arrow. I use either the crossbow or I was even thinking about using a bow fishing bow. I've seen the rednecks out there bow fishing. I'm thinking, they can catch fish like that. Maybe I can catch an iguana like that. Can't be that hard.
There you go, folks. The world's foremost expert on iguana side. If you want iguana side, this is your man. I'm just telling you. I'm telling you that. And we learned last week or 2 weeks ago. I can't remember what week it was. That it tastes like fish or chicken
Hmm.
depending upon where you get it and what it's been eating.
That's
So
right.
who knew?
You're going to be an iguana connoisseur. It's like when you were
Yeah,
talking about using coconut flour. When I was taking care of my mom, because she was a pain in the neck to give food to. She didn't like beef, but she did like shrimp. So I'd go in the backyard and I'd crack open some coconuts and shave the inside of the coconut, batter the shrimp in some duck eggs, roll it through the coconut and fry it up in some tallow or lard, and my mom would eat it. So even though that wasn't a carnivore food, it was pretty close to it. And I got to admit, I've eaten coconut shrimp. It tastes pretty good. So, don't poo poo the coconut eaters when you're a carnivore because, hey, coconuts are all around here. You walk outside, there's coconuts all over the place. My mom says, I want something different. I don't want to just eat slabs of meat like you do. Every time I see you, you're chewing on a piece of meat. You don't eat anything else. You're like a cat. All you do is eat meat all day. Well, yeah, but unlike a cat, I don't sleep all day. I sleep at night. But yeah, the coconut, I was thinking about that when you said it because my mom loved that coconut shrimp. That was the one carnivore food she looked forward to. Oh, you got any shrimp? Absolutely. They had it on sale in the store. And, I didn't tell her I was using duck eggs. I told her, eggs from the store. But I normally use duck eggs because I just wanted to get even with my mom because she kept telling me I was going to die of salmonella from eating duck eggs. And I'm going to be 56 in 3 months. And let me tell you, I haven't died yet. So I guess the duck eggs aren't toxic after all.
although death has been wished upon you by waterfowl from coast to coast.
That and a bunch of lizards and vegans
Yeah,
too.
the reptiles. Yes, the Reptile Association of America has issued a bounty for you.
Well, I've eaten many different reptiles. Not just iguanas. I've eaten gator tail before, but I don't want to eat too much gator because you got to get a permit to hunt it and all that. And then on top of that, they concentrate heavy metals. I generally don't eat carnivores. I tend to eat herbivores, and that's what an iguana is basically, other than a few insects. A duck is
Lucky for
pretty much
us.
what's that?
I said lucky for us.
Yeah. Oh, that's it. Now this is no Jeffrey Dahmer house, so you got nothing to worry about.
Good, good,
You look
good.
at my refrigerator, it's iguanas and it's various other animal parts, but no human parts.
Did you see that, Rick?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of
Well,
iguanas and ducks.
the funny thing is that I'm actually one of the duck's best friends. I must have rescued at least 200 or 300 ducklings from the drains. And I've even put videos of some of the ducklings I rescued, and some of them have
Aw.
grown up to be big, fat ducks. But in my yard, it's a little different than like if you go to a place where they raise chickens, they grind up all the male chicks, the roosters, because they don't want them. But in my little flock, it works a little differently. I raise all the ducklings, any that survive. Then they become male and female, and of course the females they lay eggs, so they give me delicious eggs, and they're a little bit small. And the males they'll sort of battle it out to see who's the top duck. And usually the male ducks that kill ducklings or attack females or whatever, then I deal with them. I give them an attitude adjustment, and that usually involves, high temperature on the stove. So that's pretty
Yeah.
much, you know. So my duck flock is happy. The females are not missing feathers because they're not overbred, and the males that I have are generally friendly. They don't attack. Some of the people that feed the ducks, they have aggressive ducks that get out there and they bite people and they get in the trash can. Some of these ducks, they'll tip over the trash can and rip open the garbage bag. It's just amazing how aggressive they can be when they're hungry. But my ducks, they're pretty calm. I keep the population down. I'm eating most of their eggs, so they're not multiplying. And if you look on the internet, you'll see there's a lot of these people that make money doing what they call duck removal. They have these so called wildlife pest removers or whatever, which I don't like them. Every time I've seen them, I've actually flattened their tires and I've thrown rotten duck eggs at them when they're in the neighborhood trying to steal my ducks. I threw an egg in the guy. Another guy, I pulled a gun on him. I told him, "You come in my yard, you're not leaving." Comes in my yard, try to catch a duck, I stick it right through the fence. It's like, no, you're not coming in my yard. Ooh, he never came back.
So
So on my street,
you have people come and try to steal your ducks.
yeah, because they got these. They got these people that they take away ducks. I guess they get paid $40 a duck or whatever to remove them and kill them from these condominiums and stuff. And some of the neighbors don't like the ducks. I had a neighbor that didn't like the ducks, so he kept calling these people. And I'd keep an eye on them. I'd see them around the corner. Like I said, I flattened their tires a couple times, and they didn't like that. Of course, they didn't know it was me. And then I've thrown rotten duck eggs at them. That's my way of getting them. I see them out there. And my yard's full of bushes, so you can't see me. I get up on the roof, and I'm good at throwing a duck egg. I should have been, I don't know, a basketball player or baseball. I don't know, but I can throw a duck egg from 100 feet away, and it'll go right on their forehead. And when you have a nasty, old, rotten, abandoned duck egg that's been sitting in the yard for a month, it's black. When it hits, it makes a popping sound like somebody popped a, like remember when we were kids would jump and they'd stomp on the milk carton and it would go boop and it would pop. I don't know if you probably remember that. Remember in
Yeah.
school they had those little milk cartons? Just like that, pop, and you hear that thing pop, and the smell is so bad. There's flies buzzing around. It's horrible. So somebody comes snooping around with their net to catch the ducks. They end up wearing a nasty duck egg on their head. What are they going to do? Call the police? Oh, I was attacked by a duck. But come on.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. So we have a question for Paul. Paul, do you have a channel that you want to promote or plug here?
No, I don't. I'm just sort of dipping my toe in the YouTube water, if you like, just at the
He's
moment.
just hanging out at the cookout, baby. He's
That's
hanging
it.
out, and that's what it's all about, man. Just come on in, hang out with us, talk about whatever you want to talk about. It's a fun live stream for the family, just to come out and socialize. We are way more than what we eat, as you could tell, family. Some of us assault people with duck eggs. Who would have? Who would have thought that would be a subject today? We've covered it all. We've talked about basketball. We've talked about harness racing. We've talked about. I mean, you just never know what we're going to talk about. We had a moment of silence for the Kentucky Wildcats. We've done it all here today.
Oh, there's a cat right
And
there.
now we got yeah, we've got hey, there's a little Wild Kingdom going on there. We got it
Yeah.
all. The Keto Cookout, man. I love that. What do you think about all this, Paul?
We can't.
Go ahead, Kim. What do
I
you
was
say?
just gonna say we talk about this diet so much to our friends and family that it gets on their nerves. So we come here so we can share it with each other, and it's just more fun this way because
Yeah.
Yeah.
they
can you
don't
imagine?
like
I
us
have,
to go on and on and on about it. It's evidently
Just-
annoying.
I have vegan friends, so you can only imagine
I
how
do
much
too.
fun that is. There you go.
my one of my very best friends is vegetarian, and my other friend, she's a pretty good friend of mine. She was vegan. I think she's gone back to vegetarian, but yeah. So which I'm happy about because I'm like, yeah, eggs or whatever you're eating. But I think she's probably adding eggs. I don't know.
Yeah.
I
Is
mean,
she
I
a
guess
junk
that
food?
doesn't really mean. I guess never mind. There's vegetarian's just a complicated thing, They got that whole ovo lacto, yeah.
Pescatarian.
I could
Is
never.
your
It could
friend,
never be me.
is your friend a junk food vegetarian or a whole food vegetarian? Because there is a difference.
So there is a mixed breed of vegetarian. Okay,
Mhm.
there's one that makes homemade soups that are delectable and always has just delicious vegetarian meals prepared. But then they eat Kit Kats too. So
Yeah. That's garbage.
she's
Yeah, well,
kind of a
that's
mixed breed.
Wank.
no. I don't know that anybody knows more vegetarians than I. I've been in the Seventh-day Adventist Church since the 70s. So I know. I went to Seventh-day Adventist boarding school for 4 years, vegetarian. They don't serve any meat there, but
Thanks, darling.
the junk food vegetarians eat a lot of the fake meats and I call it fake steak and phony bologna, and it's just a bunch of it's just and then I lived with one for 6 years that didn't eat any vegetables. Her idea of vegetables was lettuce, cheese, and croutons. She was and our freezer was, just loaded with every kind of fake steak and phony bologna you could imagine.
Phony bologna.
Everything went from a chicken nugget to it was just like it's just not even food. It's edible laboratory experiments.
Mhm.
That's really what it is.
That's
And
it.
she was, like I said, I always had problems. But then I have there's the other side that's whole food. A lot of the folks I grew up around and grew up with grew their own vegetables. They ate a lot of vegetables, a lot of fruit, beans, grains, but they didn't eat any of that processed food, any of that kind of stuff. And those people were generally healthier than the junk food vegetarians. But the hidden thing about the vegetarian is when in many cases, I could give you 100 cases, when they get older, very frail, very feeble, bone density, muscle mass, brittle bones. That's the kind of the hidden secret about a lot of the vegetarians. When they get to a certain age, they just start to fall apart. And I don't see that, with people, who are in those ages that are meat eaters. I could give you 20 off the top of my head that are like that. Just people that are close to me. Both my grandmothers, died when they're 90s. They were feeble, but they weren't frail.
Yeah.
My Uncle Joe is 90, over 90. He's 90 to be 91 here in June. And again, he's feeble, but he's not frail. Eats meat every day, and so it makes a difference. I really believe that the protein that you get from plants is not of the same caliber. It's a second-rate, low-quality protein. There's no protein from any pea or walnut that's going to equal the protein from ruminant meat.
Or peanut.
Yeah, it just
Or
doesn't
iguana.
work that way. And so, but yeah, I know a lot of dyed-in-the-wool vegetarians, and they really are whole food vegetarians, like my family, whole food vegetarians. They don't eat a lot of junk, meat and that kind of stuff. A lot of whole foods, but same kind of thing.
Speaking of junk, you ought to see. I got my newspaper ad today, and they have all these coupons. I mean, look at this crap that people eat.
Yeah.
And that isn't even the worst. At least it's got some kind of meat in it.
When I was
that looks like a
young,
health option. A healthy option.
But look at, they got the nasty, disgusting fries. I've tasted these things before. They're awful. It's like eating an old sponge. They're nasty.
Easy now on my beloved potato.
I mean,
potatoes are nasty.
Listen, hey, you will get banned from this channel if you take it too much further. Hey, listen, when I was young and in my prime, I used to eat that all the time. That's all I was.
If you're going to carb out, skip the potatoes. Eat a plantain. It's much better.
No shot, man. Listen, hey, listen. If you ever see me trapped in a net, they use potatoes to get me there. I'm just telling you right now. Hey,
have you ever had fried plantains?
Hey, I don't give not 1/3 of a darn about a fried plantain. There is nothing that equals
I'll
the
tell you
mashed
one thing.
potato and the gravy.
You're wrong.
That's how you catch me. If you want to set a trap for homesick Buckeye, I will walk right past that cake and right past all that stuff, and I will jump head first into the mashed potatoes and gravy. That's how you get this. If you're out there trying to set a trap for me, that's how you get me. I'm just telling you right now.
Well, if you're going to set a trap for me, it better be something that runs away, or at least a big old tomahawk steak.
Yeah. If I want to set a trap for you, I'll get an iguana, like iguana, and a stuffed iguana, and I'll just sit him right there somewhere. And put a big,
give it a pull.
Like when the ground drops out underneath you, like I'll just put it right in front of that, and you get it with your bow arrow, and as soon as you take 3 steps towards it to get it, boom, down.
But I'm serious though. If you like potatoes and you ever get on one of those carb cravings, skip the potatoes and hit the plantain. But the plantain has to be cooked in beef tallow, and you'll never want a potato in your life again.
Yeah. Hey, listen, how much you want to bet on that? Hey, listen, now the best you could hope for is I would want the plantain and the potato. That's as good as it's going to get on that bet. But the chance of me that's the one thing, like I said, in my old life, but here's the thing, man, I mean this, like, if I want to eat it, I'll eat it. You guys know me. We talked about this a million times. I eat what I want to. It's what I want to eat has changed because of the knowledge that I have now. But on Thanksgiving Day, man, I don't fall off the wagon. I jump off the wagon. Okay, I mean, the heck with that wagon on a few days a year, it's going down.
See,
I'm not.
okay,
Yeah, go
Russ,
ahead.
this is where you and I must differ because
Okay.
I feel so bad after I eat something that's not, around about the proper human diet plan.
Yeah.
That I mean, I do it a lot I mean, not a lot, but I do it from time to time just because I don't learn very easily. I'm a slow learner, and I always think
Yeah,
I can
I
justify it, with my. But yeah, I mean, I just feel so bad. It's like,
can relate to that because last week when my family was here, I had a bag of potato chips, and I felt bad that it was the only bag left, and I couldn't get another one. I know exactly what. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. I have not. Maybe I haven't gotten that far along in my keto life. I don't feel bad. I never felt bad in the first place.
yeah. See,
Yeah,
that's what brought me to this. I didn't
I
choose
didn't.
this; it chose me.
Yeah. No, I was just heavy. I never was sickly. I say it all the time. I've never spent a night in the hospital. I've never taken a medication other than antibiotic. I wasn't sickly. I didn't have trouble sleeping. I didn't. All I had, I just was so heavy I couldn't support my weight. That was my only problem, was just being heavy. And when I eat the wrong stuff now, I don't feel bad. I feel the only thing I do feel, and truthfully, is tired. So, like, if I eat something, I just get drowsy, but I don't feel bad. I just feel like I need to go lay down. You know what I mean? So, I hear people talk about aches and pains. And okay, if I felt like I got hit by a truck after I ate a biscuit, I wouldn't eat it either. But I don't feel bad when I eat that stuff. But I do feel drowsy. Like, if I eat some high carb stuff, I got to go to sleep. I can't eat like a high carb breakfast and then go to work. No shot. I'll need to take a nap. But I can eat what I eat now. I can eat eggs and all that stuff and then go work and be alert and all that. So yeah, I can honestly say I feel different when I eat that way, but I don't feel bad. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would cough constantly for months on end if I ate that way. And whether it's caused from candida, which I kind of always suspected, I mean, I pretty much confirmed I would take the medication that was supposed to rid my body of that, and then I would stop coughing. So it was pretty obvious that that's what it was. But
Yeah, yeah,
but whatever it was, it was like my body was like, oh heck no, you are not going to eat this. And I
yeah,
just would keep trying because an addicted brain just wants to tell you, oh, well, you can it's been long enough now. You could probably have like a little bit, right?
yeah.
You could have just one donut. I mean,
Ew.
who's that going to hurt, right?
Nasty.
Okay, answer me this question. Here's something I don't understand, and Paul, you can jump in too because I heard you say something earlier about sugar addiction. What is the difference between an addiction and just flat out liking something? Help me understand the difference between the two. I mean, I understand what
Well,
crack addiction is. I mean, I understand. I wouldn't kill I wouldn't steal from my friend to get a cupcake. You know what I mean? It's
Right.
like,
I
I
mean,
wouldn't.
it's really a matter of semantics, okay? But
Okay.
for me, I call it an addiction because I did I did behavior to get the food and to keep the food that I was ashamed of. And I was obviously ashamed of it because I would hide it. I
Mm.
would go eat the donuts in the parking lot by myself, and I would be embarrassed if anybody knew how many I ate. I would hide candy bars in my bedside table, and it wasn't like I had to hide it from my husband. I mean, he wouldn't have, teased me about it or anything, but I would.
Mm.
So I was obviously embarrassed about it and just felt like it was, just wrong for me to be. And it wasn't just one candy bar, it would be like 3 or 4 candy bars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and so it's when you feel like you just need to go back and eat more and more and more and more. It feels like an addiction, whether it actually is or not. I mean, like I said, semantics, it's not good for me. So,
Mm.
Yeah, no.
but I don't know about Paul.
I get that, and I really want to understand because it's not exactly my experience. Go ahead, Paul. Hop in there.
So I think it's pretty much exactly what Kim said, but also for me, like if I was to have, say, everyone knows what Tim Tams are, so chocolate biscuits. It's not
Never heard of
just
that.
having. I think someone said in the chat, it's not just having one or two. The whole packet's gone. You know, there's 9 biscuits and they're all gone. And just there's no, like I know Kerry talks about having an off switch,
And by
but for me
biscuits,
it was
you
like
mean
actually a
cookies,
floodgate.
right? I'm sorry to interrupt, but you mean cookies, right? Like our cookies or your biscuits?
Biscuits, yeah, chocolate
Okay.
biscuits, chocolate
Okay.
cookies. So
Nasty.
Tim Tams are just biscuit wrapped in covered in chocolate, which
Ew.
you know they're Australian staple pretty much around the world now. But so it's not so there's
I'm
9
getting
in a
sick.
packet, and I would have 1 or 2, and then similar to what you're saying about grazing earlier, you go back and then it's 2 more, and then 2 more, and then before you know it, the packet's gone, and then you're like, wow, like, and you know. I've never like I said before. Kerry says there's no off switch, but for me it was actually a floodgate. Once it opened, that was it. And then it was whatever was in the house was gone.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
It was
I
bad.
definitely understand that part of it because I was talking to somebody about moderating, and so I think I get it from that. Somebody, and they say, "Oh, well, you moderate." I'm like, "No, I don't moderate. I just decide today I ain't doing that. Today I'm eating this or that other." Now, to me, here's the difference. Like, and okay, you're down there making faces. We're talking about eating donuts, and the guy's looking there with the gas face. Dude, you eat iguana feet. What are you talking about, man? It's like,
iguana feet are delicious, but a
yeah,
donut cookies are disgusting.
yeah.
Chocolate
I
bars.
guess you
You know what
scrape
I do with a bag of cookies?
feed them to the ducks.
That's right.
I know. Oh yes,
Those
I know.
corny
I know
ducks. They
you,
must
Rick.
be
How's
really
that nasty?
sickly.
That stuff is
I know
nasty
you, Rick.
crap.
Well,
Just like
listen.
potato chips. Ew.
Yeah,
disgusting.
everybody is not gonna be scraping the dirt out from under iguana toenails and eating them. Okay, so but here's the thing. Like with me, I got this size on laziness because I was a happy fat guy for a long time. I still am a happy fat guy technically.
That's a good thing.
But ignorance. I gained another, probably 40 pounds trying to lose weight because I was pounding granola and fruit and all this stuff, thinking that that's how you do it. And I gained even more weight. But to me, here's the difference from where I see it. So maybe we're saying the same thing in a different way. If I went and got a big bag of, I went to Costco and got a big thing, let's say of chocolate covered almonds, and I put them out there in my kitchen, and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna have a few of those every weekend or something. That wouldn't work. Okay, that ain't gonna work. I'll end up eating them. Fair enough, because I like them. They're delicious. But that to me is different than saying, hey, on Thanksgiving Day, I'm gonna drive 300 miles to my uncle's house, and I'm gonna forget I ever even keto. Who is that?
Yeah, because that's a decision. Like you're making a conscious decision.
And then drive 300 miles back home where there is nothing but beef, bacon, butter, and eggs in my house. That's not moderating to me. Moderating is trying to do something on a regular basis, a little bit at a time. I'm not doing that. That's not going to
to
work.
me, that is moderating. Because you can just do a little bit of it and then be done with it, and you're not going back home and trying to think of a way that you could make that again, which I would be. My doctor.
Right. Yeah. When I go down there, I'm like, yeah, keto. What keto? Who? I don't know him. He's I don't know who that is.
I have my own view of addiction.
Yeah.
My view of addiction is anything that controls you that you can't control. So
Yeah.
if it controls you, you're addicted. Now, I guess by that definition, I'm addicted to steak because when I have a lot of steak, I will eat it and eat it and eat it until I can't swallow literally anymore. I start swallowing, it starts backing up, and I have to kind of stand up and let it go down. That's when I know I've had too much steak. And that could be 4 or 5 pounds, 6 pounds of steak. And I've had people look at me like there is no way you can eat that much. And I eat a ton of it. But if you give me the potato chips, you know how Lay's used to say, you can't eat just one.
Just one.
I
Yeah.
used to joke. I said that's all I can eat. So I thought they were trying to say that they're so nasty that you can't eat just one. Like as a kid, I thought about it. I was like, I hate those things. And the only thing worse than Lay's potato chips were Fritos corn chips, and I always wondered why the Frito Bandito wanted them because I didn't want them. You know, if the Frito Bandito says, give me your Fritos corn chips," I go, "Here, take them all. I don't care.
Heard of
I don't
him.
want the corn chips."
Yeah.
Ay,
Well,
ay, ay,
well,
ay. I am the Frito
yeah.
Bandito. That shows what I
I guess,
remember as a
like I
kid.
said, I've
Heard of that.
this is the longest stretch that I've had my family here with me. Normally, like I said, I live alone, just me. I don't have a lot of outside influence in terms of diet. Like sometimes somebody will bring a pizza by or something like that every once in a while, or something. Or during the holiday season, my family bake holiday cookies and send them to me, little things like that. But 90% of the time, I don't have a lot of outside, influence. But with my family being here for the last, few weeks, there's a lot of things, and I just nibble. I really do because I don't want to go back. It's like, have you ever lived, like if you live in a terrible neighborhood and you move out, you still drive through every now and again, maybe to see the old neighborhood, and but you don't want to live there. You know what I mean? It's like I don't want to move back there. I'll go in and drive around and see the old friends, and then I'm out. And that's kind of how I feel about my old diet. That's why I don't eat keto pizza or keto muffins or all that keto pan. I don't eat that stuff because I don't want that. I don't want any kind of pizza, keto or otherwise. If I do, I will eat the real thing. If I suddenly get a desire for that, I'm not going to try to make an imitation of it. I'm going to go to Domino's or whatever and do it. But I don't want that. I don't want that life. I do look forward to certain holidays and certain vacations and things. There are restaurants I've eaten at literally since I was a little kid, 50 years, and when I go home, I, go to those places and that. Then I come back to my real life. It's like, and I get that other people can do that. Trust me.
Well,
And
and if
now,
you can leave it out of your house, I
yeah,
think
yeah,
it's a little
yeah,
bit easier.
yeah,
But for me, like, I'm not even that person that, like, I can look at anything in the world. Like, I can look at any food there is and totally just not eat it and be totally fine with it. And I'm not just saying that. Like, they'll have cake at work every day, practically.
yeah.
Huge cakes in the break room. And I just look at it and I'm like, ugh, yeah, it's gross to me. But
You're
if
right.
I were to eat a little piece of that cake, I would be in there eating more of that cake because once I get a taste for it, it's like a rabid dog in blood or something. Once you get a taste for it, you can't stop. Like it's like
Yeah.
the Pringles thing, once you pop, you can't stop.
Yeah,
Pringles
no,
make you throw
I
up.
can kind of see that, like I said, because again, I don't exactly have, I don't have that, like I can eat it, but I can't stop. But I definitely have the thing. I just want a little bit. It's like I can't, after a while, I can walk past it a few times, but then I'm like, okay, like when my Pop Redden had his 85th birthday, we were out there. I had a little piece of birthday cake. It was probably about a third of the size that I would have eaten in my old life. And then it was cool, it was with the family and stuff. It was like a thing. Everybody, I just had a little bit, and it was good. I didn't, and I talked to other people. I remember talking to Connor or Kip about that. He's like, man, if I had a little piece of something, I'd be dreaming about it.
I identify with Kip heavily.
I get it. See, but here's the funny thing with me, and it's literally my brain works the opposite because I am a routine freak and a habit freak. I'm a my routine, my habits, my normals, they're what like drives me. So when I'm eating that cake, I'm literally thinking about bacon and eggs because that's my normal. That's my routine. It's like a gravitational pull, and it was and it was the other way around when I was eating the wrong things. And that's why it was so hard and it took so long for me to get to ketogenic living, because when I was eating the steak and that, I was thinking about pizza because that was my normal. That was those are my routines. Those are my habits, my whatever. And I had to just continually work on making new normals for myself
Yeah.
and changing little bits at a time till 100 little changes became a big change. So it's crazy. Like my brain literally works 180 degrees for that. When I'm eating on Thanksgiving Day, and I'm thinking about, man, I got to make some steaks when I get home. I got to say, because again, and even like when I'm on vacation, I'm like, oh, I'm so glad to be. When I got home, as I was gone for like 4 days, I've never in my life been so excited about eating bacon and eggs. I just was like, oh, thank you. Oh, I'm so glad to be
You're a carnivore. You eat
back to my
carnivore.
routine. It's about routine.
Yeah.
It's about my normal. I guess I'm just odd that way. And it takes a while. I mean, if I ate the wrong things just over and over and over again and just force myself to do it, I will eventually like go back to, okay, this is my normal. This is my routine. This is what I do. I'll tell you a funny story, just quick, and then we're getting to the end. Paulo, appreciate this. In my hometown of Columbus, Ohio, we have a racetrack, Scioto Downs, and I spent every Saturday night on the benches it's only open from May to September. It's a summer track. I spent every Saturday night on the benches at Scioto Downs for probably the better part of 15 years in the same spot, the same place. And one day a friend of mine, I was sitting there and a person tapped me on the shoulder. I turned around. It was a friend of mine I hadn't seen for probably 5 years. And he said, I told my wife before I left the house, I'm pretty sure I'd find you here. Right there. That's me. So now that I've gotten myself on the keto road and I'm doing, right things and all that, it's easy for me to stay in my lane and in my routine because that's just how my mind works. But it took me forever to get there. I'm not a Band-Aid ripper, and cold turkey is for sandwiches. I mean, that's just, that's how it works. So, but we're going to wrap up here. We'll let everybody, has anybody got anything to plug, anything they want to talk about? I see a few people popped in. Hey, Robin, good to see you, sis. I saw Carrie in there. My metamorphosis. Carrie, love you, sis. Hope you're doing all right. Shout out to Nashville. What's coming up on your channel, Kim? Anything, any videos, anything cool, exciting?
Just some videos here and there. Like I say, try to make videos that don't suck too bad. But every Sunday, we at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have our low carb book club. It's me, Carrie, and Lynn, Midlife Carnivore, and my metamorphosis with an O. And we have a great time. We started it just basically, we wanted to learn some more, some more deep stuff about the proper human diet, and we are learning, and people are learning with us. And yeah, one of my last videos kind of took off, and I was like, I thought the vegans had got a hold of it. I was kind of scared there for a minute, honestly, but
yeah. I love that. Rick, what you guys think coming up on your channel?
Yeah, kind of. All I've been doing lately is just putting in some little short videos just to let people know that I haven't died of a heart attack yet. I've had some duck rescues.
Yay.
Yeah, duck rescues, van repair videos, and so on. But I've been thinking about making, well, once I can get my computer to cooperate, I've been thinking about making a carnivore lifestyle video because there's more to me than what I eat. I have my own
Exactly.
views. I have my own views on the world. I think the world is getting so screwed up between the financial system, the way people live, people I deal with every day. I cannot understand what makes them think. They seem to be running around in circles like a hamster on a wheel. They're not going anywhere. They have all these self inflicted problems, health issues, and everything. So I'm thinking, what can I do? What kind of video could I make? And my most popular video so far is when I was talking about my friend that tried to go on the carnivore diet, but it was too late for him. He ended up kicking the bucket. But I'm just trying to come up with some of the ideas that I have in my life, the reason why I live the way that I do. And even though I'm a poor man, I'm able to survive pretty well. I mean, I've been able to adapt. But a lot of people I know, one little thing is all it takes to turn their life upside down, and then they go into some kind of breakdown mode. And sometimes that involves eating a lot of junk food. I got one friend of mine, he's got diabetes now. And I keep thinking, how can I get through to him? I keep telling him, ditch the soda, stop eating the duck food. But he keeps telling me, I can't eat what you do. Your food is too bland. You're sitting there chewing on a piece of meat. You don't even spice it up. So, well, if that's what you want, add some spices to it. Put some onions and garlic and pepper and whatever else you want. If it's a whole food, it comes from a plant and it tastes good, throw it on there. Whatever it takes for you to get that steak down. And ditch those stupid Takis and I don't know, this other crap. They eat so many stupid things. They go to Chick-fil-A and Pollo Tropical. I said, don't do that. And then I thought about maybe what I need to do is offer my own line of cooking products. Rick's engine cooking set and maybe Rick's tailgate grill that doesn't cost
Yeah.
$500.
Hey, listen, your cooking set will just have two things: heat and lard. That's the that's cooking set. Whatever,
Yeah,
drop it in the grease, family. That could be your channel. Drop it in the grease with Charger Mobile.
I've made my own cooking utensils for the engine. I used a pressure washer and sheet metal, and they're made out of stainless steel. Some of them are copper. I've made several different versions. And you basically just build a mold out of wood and you put some stainless steel in there, clamp it together, pump it with a pressure washer, it expands, weld the edges, and then you make a hinge on it. I put it on the engine. I've cooked so many steaks and so much meat. I've never cooked iguana on the engine. Maybe one day I'll do that. But I've deep fried on the engine. I've had heart attack chicken cooked on a 7.3 diesel and a 440 Dodge. And they all tasted good. And it's so good because when you're driving, you smell that delicious food cooking.
Oh
It's
my
like
God.
you know how the fast food places they try to entice people with the fast food smell, the same smell that makes me want to throw up. Well, in my car or my truck, and I'm cooking that steak or that heart attack chicken, and I'm smelling it, and as the miles go by, you can smell it cooking more and more. And just when it's ready, you got to pull off the road and open it up and start eating. Because that's the way I do it. While my friends are at the Chick-fil-A drive-through, I'm on the side of the road, eating up my heart attack food.
So, Rick, I have an idea. I think you should just film your normal everyday life. I think it'll be fascinating.
Yeah, you need a blog.
Yeah, that's can't miss. That is can't miss YouTube until they ban it. Well, folks, listen, hey, Paul, Paul doesn't have a channel, but I have a feeling there may be some upcoming things there, and you got to come back here when you launch that thing and debut it here, and we'll, of course, you're part of the family. We'll make sure we give you all the love you need.
Thank you, brother. Thanks for having me.
Hi, man. And listen, we appreciate you. Appreciate the support. Appreciate you in the chat and all that stuff. You're welcome here anytime. We have actually exceeded our contractual obligations to the family this week. Want to thank my man Paul, Rick, my ride or die nurse Kim. I want to thank you guys so much for joining me, and all of you guys. I appreciate you so much for hanging out with us. We will be back next Tuesday with more ridiculousness, tomfoolery, and shenanigans.
And quackery.
We will see you. Yeah, we will see you guys next Tuesday. Take care of yourself. We'll catch you on the
Bye,
next.
guys. Have a good week.